Welcome, gentle listener. I am Voldemort, your faithful servant, and I wish to introduce you to the forces, factions, and units of the Warhammer 40k universe, the grim darkness of the far future, where there is no time for peace, there is only time for war. Now, I would note that I am doing lighter entries until the end of the year, as I am indeed in need of a little break. That said, I feel the visuals do lend to the winter season, so let us now discuss in very brief the Fenrisian wolves and their larger cousins, the Thunderwolves. They hail from the world of Fenris, that legendary planet that is the home of the Vlka Fenryka, the Space Wolves. Fenris itself is of an intensely cold climate and mimics the mythical world of the Asir and Vanir, the sagas of the Nordic nations. It is a world of huge mountains, myriad fjords, ice and snow. The cold as deadly as any of the denizens of its woods. Fenris is a celestial playground where the sagas of the ancient North are brought to life again. There are monsters that traverse the deep and terrible dark waters of its oceans, perhaps the last vestiges of a previous Tyranid invasion of the galaxy. Trolls that hide amongst the snows and are as large as a dreadnought and possessed of a lethal low cunning. Iceworms, krakens, and doppelgangrels roam the seas and the drifts, and it is into this harsh and bitter existence that only the most powerful and aggressive of creatures will manage to survive. This is the world that the Wolves of Fenris must exist in, must hunt in, must survive in. Where near all other beasts are darker, larger, and more ferocious. Thus are the Wolves of Fenris, be they normal or the Thunderwolves, are the largest, most rugged, and most combative in the galaxy. For only such beings could gain the trust and respect of their post-human masters, the Lords of Fenris, the Space Wolves. And so, as usual, for the very basics, let us lean on existing wisdom. To quote, Fenrisian Wolves. The Wolves of Fenris are legendary beasts whose lives are inextricably linked with those of the human tribes that share their icebound planet. Over the millennia, these gigantic lupines have become an integral part of the brotherhood of the Space Wolves. Very few know the sheer diversity of wolves that exist upon Fenris. These range from the common but nonetheless deadly Fenrisian wolf to the hulking black-maned wolf, all the way up to the infamous Thunderwolf that prowls the northernmost ice caps. The Wolves of Fenris are amongst the most vicious predators in the known universe. They roam the tundra of Fenris and are numerous in the vast lands of Azerheim that lie around the foot of the mountains of Fangard. Fenrisian wolves obey the natural order of their kind, hunting in groups and instinctively obeying pack dynamics, with the largest and most ferocious of their kind functioning as the alpha wolf, or alpha male. The alpha makes the pack's decisions, faces down external threats and challenges to his position alike, and enjoys the first pick of not only the kill, but also the female members of his pack. This is a position much respected by the savage menfolk of Fenris, many of whom strive to emulate the alpha male in their own social groupings. Fenrisian wolves range from man-size to the size of a snow lion. They have shaggy manes, powerful shoulders, and overdeveloped iron-hard teeth. It is considered a great feat for a battle brother of the Space Wolves chapter to hunt down a pack of these supernaturally ferocious beasts armed with nothing but his wits. This ritual is known as the Lone Hunt. Should the battle brother somehow kill the alpha male of a Fenrisian wolf pack, the rest of the wolves will instinctively treat him as the new alpha male, and when he returns successfully to the Fang, he does so in the company of wolves. Many of these new packmates form a lasting attachment, having a great respect for their new leader, and from that moment they will fight at their master's side until one or both of them die in battle. Such is the bond between the Space Wolves and their beasts, for a Fenrisian wolf critically injured in battle to be mechanically augmented by the chapter's Iron Priests, so they may live to fight another day. Thunderwolf Cavalry. The legendary Thunderwolves dwell at the northernmost point of Fenris, making their lairs in the fabled mountains of the Maelstrom. Many Fenrisians venerate the Thunderwolf as a spirit totem. for the beast is undoubtedly the apex predator in the frozen realms at the top of the world. Thunderwolves are solitary creatures that usually attack each other on sight. It is as if every Thunderwolf strives to be the alpha predator on an entire planet. These hulking beasts carve out a solitary existence that involves an eternal cycle of hunting, eating, and sleeping. Their primary food animals are the giant bear, the ice troll, and the Fenrisian mastodon, though Thunderwolves will devour any creatures that trespass upon their snowy realm without hesitation. It is said the best way to find a Thunderwolf is to draw it from its lair with the messy slaughter of one of their prey animals, and to be a long way away when the beast comes sniffing along. Physically, Thunderwolves are truly monstrous, their anatomies having more in common with a Terran rhinoceroid than with a normal canine. Reaching as much as 8 feet tall in height at the shoulder, Thunderwolves are clad in a shaggy coat of rough fur as tough as matted steel wire, and their jutting jaws are so strong that they are able to chew through iron. Thunderwolf skulls have been found that show evidence of several rows of teeth in perpetual growth, allowing those that are ripped out during violent kills to be quickly replaced. Their teeth are highly prized as warrior totems in Fenrisian culture. If rumour is to be believed, Thunderwolf teeth are also greatly valued in Orc society due to their sheer size and jagged serrated edge. Rather than tracking their prey down over time like their smaller cousins, Thunderwolves bear down upon their victims in a terrifying charge. Snatching up their prey in their stinking, blood-caked maw, they tear the unfortunate creature's head off with violent thrashing motions and their gnashing, grinding bite. Only the Space Wolves have the constitution to hunt the Thunderwolves that haunt the mountains of the Maelstrom, where perpetual ice storms would flay the skin from a lesser creature in the span of a single day. There are several known instances of senior Space Wolves tracking down and breaking in Thunderwolves in an extreme version of the lone hunt. This practice, thought to be an initiation ritual into the upper echelons of the Wolf Guard, has given rise to the legendary Thunderwolf Cavalry, a small but dauntless elite within the ranks of the Wolf Guard, who remain conveniently absent from any official Imperial records. Despite their near-mythical nature, there exists at least one high-caliber vidsteel of a trio of Space Wolf cavalry riding into battle against a large mob of armoured orcs. The havoc that ensues is startling even to a hardened veteran. In the footage of the vidsteel, the unmistakable silhouette of Space Marine riders are mounted upon what very much look like Thunderwolves, albeit ones augmented with vicious adamantium jaws, hissing pistons, and back-jointed metal limbs that end in razor-sharp blades. Though the existence of the vidsteel is a well-guarded secret, no matter how often the Space Marines deny the practice of riding beasts of war, rumours abound across the Fenris sector about the glorious charges of the Thunderwolf Cavalry. I share a deep bond with my battle brothers, for the blood of Russ runs in our veins. I would die for any one of them, just as they would die for me, without fear or hesitation. But my mount is my packmate, my fellow riders, my closest kin. Ours is a bond that others cannot fully grasp. We hunt as one, and together share in the glory of the kill. There is no greater joy on all of Fenris than to ride to battle astride a Thunderwolf. Regard the broad Thunderwolf Cavalry. End quote. As we have heard, the Vlka Fenryka, the Space Wolves, have a cultural and almost spiritual connection to the Fenrisian wolves. Now, it was once said that there are no wolves on Fenris, but this could get a tad complicated, so we may touch on that in the future. But it is possible that the lines of the wolves and the humans on Fenris have somehow blended, but as I said, we shall explore this more in due course. But it is why the Canis Helix creates the Wolfen, the reason why the Space Wolves have this affinity with their fellow denizens of Fenris, and why their characters can be seen to be so similar. Aggressive, territorial, but based on a true love of those around them, their family, their pack. Loyal. Thus it is that the Space Wolves, the Vlka Fenryka, can ride such powerful canines into battle, and this alone should display the power of the wolves, the sheer bulk and strength they enjoy. For the Space Wolves are huge, and they are wearing full war plate power armor. Yet the Thunderwolves can charge seemingly unfettered, can dive and run around crags and leap onto ledges in preparation for their downward pounces. And all the time, carrying a Space Marine. And one that will be discharging his bolt pistol or revving a chainsword, right behind its incredibly attuned ears, with hearing many times that of a normal human. So warlike are they, that none of these things which would put a normal animal to flight are even registered. The Thunderwolf is truly one with their rider, a mount that is not broken, a whipped cur serving a master, but a proud wolf that fights with and for its pack leader. And as we all know, a volunteer is worth 10 conscripts when it comes to the fray. With the Thunderwolves, the Vlka Fenryka have a cavalry force to match even a direct charge from Chaos blood crushers of Khorne for power, or the headlong dash of orc bikers. Yet their steeds can bound and climb, fight independently, and with an instinct that no bike can emulate, nor soulless hope to predict. The Wolves of Fenris and the Canis Helix will be discussed in further detail in later entries concerning the Space Wolves. But finally, one must discuss the huge amount of fun they are, the aesthetic and feel they lend to the army on the tabletop. For I have not played the Space Wolves myself since the early 90s, when they certainly did not have such a wealth of unique models, builds and rules, such rich lore. A shame, but I can tell you that I have faced them quite recently, and the models, the feel, the look, the entire presence of them on the board was different to most Loyalist armies. They felt dangerous, they felt swift, they were brutal, and they were ever presenting me with lone men who I thought would fall easily to the rage of my guns. But these men were all heroes, and oft astride the wolves that I came to fear. And I can attest, you do not want to be a pretty army of mostly guardians when the wolves hit home. For, as is universally known amongst the fantasy and Age of Sigmar communities, invariably, no matter how powerful the rider may be, the fickle friend of luck will always make the steed the more lethal. And on these steeds, when the dice roll well and the position is possible. Ouch! 'Twas a lot of lamenting in the craft worlds that night, I can tell you. As it should be. For the Space Wolves, the Emperor's executioners, would not ride to battle on anything less than some of the most aggressive, dangerous, yet loyal beasts in all of the galaxy. I have been Voldemort, your faithful servant. I hope you have enjoyed this brief introduction to Fenrisian wolves and Thunderwolf cavalry. If so, then please do consider liking and subscribing. If you do, then hit the notifications button, as I would not want you to miss out. Now, no matter what you do today, do try to make some time for fun. Toodaloo.